Okay, have you ever heard the statement, people don't plan to fail, they fail to plan? Well, let me tell you, as gardeners and homesteaders, you need to plan to fail. Earlier, I started digging up the sweet potatoes that I planted this year. It did not go as planned. It did not go as planned. And I planned, so I didn't fail to plan. I planned, and I planted the sweet potatoes. Last year, the sweet potatoes that I grew were humongous. They were huge. They were awesome. There were so many of them. No problems. This year, this is my harvest. This is my entire sweet potato harvest right here. That's not a lot of sweet potatoes. I thought we were going to have like the most amazing harvest of sweet potatoes based on last year. Of course, last year also we had a bumper crop of tomatoes. Like, I was canning tomatoes like there was no tomorrow last year. And this year I have canned 0 tomatoes, unless you count the botched tomato canning session. So while I was pulling out these sweet potatoes and chopping them in half over and over again, if you know how to dig up sweet potatoes without chopping them in half, please let me know, because seriously, every time I would dig, I'd be like, oh, I think I'm on the outside of them. Chop. I was getting super frustrated, and to the point where I was like, I think I'm just going to go buy sweet potatoes from the store. It's not worth this. It's not worth this. Okay, I need to take a break because I almost had a stroke out of anger trying to dig this potato up. And then I thought, what did our ancestors do? What did they do when they had a bad crop? And let me see, I'm doing this with all the technology that we have today. So, I mean, I have weed mat, I have tiller, we borrowed a tractor, I can buy seeds online. If I have a question about anything that I'm growing, I can just look it up in seconds and figure out what's wrong with it. If I need something, I can order it and it'll be delivered to my house the next day. With all these advantages, you would think that gardening would be foolproof, and yet it is not. So this year, the main differences were the unrelenting rain. It rained so much. I had a bunch of tomato plants rot, I guess would be the best word to use. I don't know. They died, which has never happened to me before. And then they didn't mature and start setting fruit until pretty late. It just didn't go to plan. So since we didn't fail to plan, I think we need to plan to fail. I planted a bunch of tomatoes. Next year, I'm probably going to plant even more tomatoes. The sweet potatoes, I have some ideas about what kind of happened there, but the weather, the fact that it frosted so soon was unexpected, and I have plans to deal with that as well. But on the whole, I don't know what's coming next year. You don't know what's coming next year. You don't know what the weather is going to be like. You don't know that you're going to get a frost 3 weeks before normal. You don't know if it's going to pour down rain the entire season, or if you're going to have a drought the entire season. Which also, our ancestors didn't have hoses, and they didn't have weather apps, which is mind-boggling. Like, I know it's warm out today. I am in short sleeves. It is nice, but I know that the killing frost is coming, and I know when it is and when I need to pick all these peppers. If I didn't know that, these might all get ruined. And they are looking so good. Oh my goodness. That is one thing. This season, I have had good peppers this season. So the things that worked out really well for me this season were green beans, pumpkins, and peppers. And the flowers always work out, probably because I have so many seeds, and who cares if they die? They're just flowers, whatever. You can't eat the flowers. I started cleaning up this aisle too. I'm gonna wait until the killing frost comes, and then I'm gonna pull up all the stakes. We're gonna trash everything. And then next year we are doing weed mat. But that is neither here nor there. Back to the planning to fail. So if you know that bad things are gonna happen, you should plant way more than you need. You should plant things early and then plant them late, because you have no idea what the weather is gonna do in a year. You can only look so far out. Planting different varieties. Like, my one type of green beans did really well. The other type of beans that I grew did not. My bush beans came in really early. My runner beans, probably gonna lose a lot of these to the killing frost. I don't even know if they're gonna have time to mature to actually make seed for next year. I don't think they are. Luckily, I still have some seed. But even that, probably next year, in planning to fail, I'll leave some on the vine specifically to get to seed as soon as possible, so I can take that and use it the next year. Because what if you couldn't buy seeds? I would be SOL. for these if I couldn't buy seeds and I didn't have any saved. Planning to fail. Chickens. Any more chickens? We have the perfect amount of chickens, we thought, but something always happens to chickens. I don't know if you know this, but like chickens, they're not dying, but now they're not laying. It's which obviously we're coming into winter, but once again, I think it's just redundancy. Having more than you think you need. Don't cut it so close that if something messes up, you go without. What is the saying of prepperdom? 2 is 1 and 1 is none. I guess that works in homesteading and gardening as well. So as our summer garden year wraps up here, I am definitely looking forward to next year, and I'm already thinking about ordering what I'm going to order, what we're going to grow based on this year and last year, like what I want to do differently to try to optimize and get the most out of the garden. And I am absolutely putting in a ton of padding for when things just don't work out. I want to make sure that I have different types of beans, different types of tomatoes, planting them at different times, succession planting, different areas. I don't want to plant all my squash in one place because if the squash bugs take it down, it is done. Redundancy, planning to fail. And I'm buying food too. There was a point in time when I was trying to build my pantry when I said to myself, well, I don't really need to buy this stuff because obviously I'm going to can it all. Like I thought I was going to be like a master canner homesteader person, like on the YouTubers who've been doing it for like decades. I thought I was like, well, I'll just do that. I'll just buy like a bazillion cans and I'll just can it all up and it'll be fine. Well, aren't I glad that I did not do that and I actually bought food, because if I had done that, it'd be slim eatings. The message today, besides the fact that it is a beautiful day outside, is plan to fail and know that it's okay, and yet still hope for the future, hope for that perfect gardening season. I haven't had mine yet, but hope that next year is going to be the best gardening season yet, your best homesteading season yet. It's going to be amazing, and have that hope, and at the same time, plan to fail. That's all I got for you today. Thank you for stopping by.